Hello and welcome to this next session. In this session, we're going to be looking at writing. How do you write? And what are some objectives to writing? How do you create these objectives? And how do you go about them? So, if you're new to writing, then it could be difficult for you to get started as a content writer if you've not been writing at all. It would not just jump on you. Content writing would not just jump on you if you are not a fan of maybe article writing, story writing, you don't even enjoy writing at all, then it could be difficult for you. But that doesn't mean it is impossible. So there are some ways you could improve on your writing skill, and you could actually be able to create better content or create better written content. So how do you write? How to write? Now, the first way to write properly is to write the way you speak. Now, every single thing you're saying, every single thing you are saying can be written down. So you can start by writing how you speak. You don't have to try to be so cohesive in the way you write. You don't have to try to put all the big grammars. You get, just write, just let it flow the way you're talking, just the way you're listening to me right now. If I'm to write a content, I'm going to just write the content exactly how I'm saying it. You get, I'm not trying to look for the biggest grammar. I'm not trying to put the best punctuation. I'm not trying to arrange the words so perfectly. I'm just letting it flow. If you are if somebody is trying to build a house, you don't try to build a house from the top. You start from the bottom. So when you write the way you like, you are able to couple everything back together when you have been able to build a solid foundation. So if you're just looking to get started writing, then write the way you speak, just the way you talk, right? And the next thing is read more written materials. So more reading materials, read them like your stories. You can read books. They improve the way you see writing. When you read more of stories, you are improving your vocabulary. You're also seeing the way words can flow into each other. You can also tap into the ideas of other writers, or you can tap into the writing flow, and you'll be able to create more written materials. You get, so if you really want to learn how to write, or you want to know how to write more, then you should read more written materials or more stories. Like my mentors on the tell me, if you want to learn how to write stories better, you should read stories. You don't have to read it. I mean, you don't have to learn how to write stories. Yeah, it's important for you to learn how to write stories, but reading stories would improve your ability to write stories just by reading them. You get, and then number three is write daily. So every single day, ensure you're writing. This is one perfect way to create better content or create better written content. Write every single day. So maybe something happened to you today, write it down. I mean, just write it down. Or you were thinking of something, write it down. The more you're writing, and when you're writing, please ensure you're using your pen on the paper. Don't put it on your phone or on your laptop. Write it down. Right, you're flexing the muscle of your skill as a writer. The more you write, the more you are able to flex your muscle, and the more ideas come, the more you learn. You get, so it's just practice. Just keep on writing every single day. Just ensure at least a day does not go by without you writing. If you want to write something educational, write. Maybe it's something that you've learned before, you can write about it. Maybe it's an experience that happened to you that day. Maybe it's something that has happened to you before. Maybe it's something that you feel people would learn from. Write every single day. Write. So when you write these things, you can post them. You can just keep them in your book. Write every single day. If it's just 30 minutes per day, if it's just even 10 minutes per day or 20 minutes, write every single day. It improves on your writing skill. And then the next one, which is number four, is scattered writing. Now, this is something I learned. I learned the hard way. Now, whenever I want to write my stories, I always start writing my stories from the beginning to the end. So if I want to write a story, I start from the first chapter. I just continue the story down to the end. And sometimes it's always difficult because sometimes I want to create plot twists, and because I did not include those plot twists at the beginning, or I did not make reference to them at the beginning, it's difficult for me to introduce them in the middle of the stories. So what I had to learn was, whenever you want to write anything, write them anyhow. Like, especially if you want to be like a story writer, You don't write stories from the beginning. You write stories anyhow. I mean, you can start from the last paragraph and go back to the first one, come to the second one. Any single idea that comes your way, put everything down. You are not trying to arrange them. You're not trying to create the best story at the beginning. I'm using stories to explain this because story writing is still the best form of writing, right? So I'm just using to explain it. You want to write your content scattered. You're not like when you're creating the first set of writing, you're not trying to create the perfect content. No, you're just writing anyhow. So let's say you want to write for a fashion brand. Okay, maybe you've highlighted their problem or your audience problem. Okay, you put that one down. Okay, how do I link it with this one? Any other idea that pops into your mind, also you put it there. When you're through with everything, okay, you look at everything and you can now find, okay, how do I arrange them accordingly? You get, so I was making the reference to stories. So let's say I want to write a story and I want to introduce a plot twist, maybe at in the middle of the story. I can make reference to it at the beginning, but I can do that because of while I was creating the story, I did not write the story accordingly. I already knew I was going to create my plot twist even before the story started. So I can easily make reference to it at the beginning so that it can appear in the middle. Unlike when I was just trying to just do everything straight. When you're writing your content in a scattered form, you can be able to rearrange them. That particular idea that you first got that you thought was the best one, you might end up not even using it. It might be something else you thought of at the dying minute is what you might actually still use as your heading, and then something else can be your sub heading, and on and on and on like that. So it's very, very important for you to understand each of these things. As we explore more under this course, we're going to be learning more about it. So let's move on. What are some objectives to writing objectives? So we've talked about this before when we're talking about relevance of content writing, but let's just look at some of them. So number one is to help an audience. Now you can write content to help a particular set of people. So let's say you like, for example, you can create content as, let's change. I think we've been using a shoe brand for so long. Let's use a tech brand. So let's use a tech brand. So let's say you want to help people to be able to manage their power banks. Yeah, like there was a time I got an extension recently. I got it from somebody, and the person was like, if you want to preserve this extension so that it lasts longer, ensure you are always switching it off whenever the power is off. Like whenever you don't have light at home, ensure you switch it off so that whenever power is restored, it does not goes off, or it does not just blow. You get, and then I never thought of that because whenever I'm leaving the house, I don't even switch off my socket. I just leave it alone. But you have to tell me that. And since then, whenever I'm going out, I always switch it off. Now, that is something that is very helpful. If you want to create content around that, you definitely create content around that. If you're a tech brand, let's say you sell phones or you sell accessories of phones, you can create helpful contents that actually help people. You get, so let's say you know how to do something, maybe you know how to preserve the battery life of your Android device. You can create a content around it and then you can upload it. Whenever people that are using Android device, you see those contents, they would like it, and they will even be grateful that you actually shared something like that. You get, so you can create contents to help an audience. Number two is you can create content to solve a problem. So let's say somebody is struggling with something as regarding maybe his phone or a phone, right? And then they don't know what to do about it. Probably their phone is, maybe the screen is blinking. You get, that is a problem. So let's say you've created a content around that on your page. Definitely you'll be able to get them to come to your page and engage with your content. What am I trying to drive here? As a content writer, you can create contents to solve a problem. So when you identify your audience, you identify the problems that they have, and then you can solve those problems with your content, right? So that is another objective to content writing. Why am I teaching you this at this point? It's so that when you want to write your content, you have different areas you can come in with your content. The reason most people find it hard to create written content is because of they don't have areas they can delve in. your content can be spread around. You can decide, okay, today I want to educate, tomorrow I want to help, next tomorrow I want to market. You get, so you have different ideas, so you can always come into the market with different approaches. Then number three, I said, is to market an offer. So you can create content that is designed to market a particular offer. So it could be your service, it could be your product, whatever it is, you can create content around that. And then to describe something. So let's say you have a new offer and you feel a lot of persons don't really understand it. You can create a content describing the features of the offer. So list out the features and explain them. So we do this often at Addis Academy. Whenever we are launching a new course, we explain the course. We explain everything about the course, what you'll be learning, how you'll be learning, every single thing, like going into the details of the course, so that what, so that you can understand it. We are not marketing the course, we are describing it, right? So you're able to understand what it's about. Then the next one is to sell something. So you can create content that is directly to sell, like just to sell. You know, there's a difference between marketing and selling. When you're marketing, you are creating a whole lot of campaign, like a set of system that drives towards something. For example, your content is a part of your marketing. You're creating content because you want to sell, right? So a content is part of it. Your designs is a part of it. Your, if you are running advert, is also a part of your marketing. So like the entire thing is your marketing. Why selling is just, okay, give me the money and let me buy. So you can also create content around selling. Now, to also to engage an audience. So you can create content like I said before in the previous module. I was talking about how to create content to engage people. So you can create content that make people reply to your post or engage with your post or like or follow and whatever it is you actually want to achieve. And then lastly, you can create content to evoke a feeling. So you can create content to make people happy, to make people angry, to make people love you, to make people care. You can evoke feelings using your content. Now, if you understand the objective of your content, you are a step further to writing better content. You get, so when you understand, okay, this is what I hope to achieve, these are the people I want to attract, it is much easier for you to go ahead to write this content. And that is why it is important for you to understand the objective of your writing, or objective of writing your content, so that you can actually go ahead to write them properly. You get? So this is where we're going to be ending this particular module. I believe you've learned a lot. I will see you in the next session.